Hey Aaron, that was quick. Okay, multimeter's good. Hey Chicago, Bumvo Paraffin, Mr. Lucas, Andrew Kidyon, Asamoth. Asamoth, how's those board files going? Still working, I hope. Let's see. They actually came in use too, by the way. Someone else was looking for the same sort of era of boards, and so that proved to be useful. What was I about to do? I was about to do something. Crikey. Oh, how's the audio sync? Oh, you surely got. There we go. Can we stab stuff today? Well, I'd like to stab stuff. Were you talking about lithium packs? That would be good. Stabbing lithium packs is always fun. I don't seem to recall what it was I was trying to do. God damn it. Old timers disease strikes again. Hey Defbomb, audio sync is off. I need more than one confirmation for that. I could stab myself, but it's probably not a good idea. I might die. And I'm really not in the mood to dying today. Not today. Yep, definitely can't remember what on earth that I was supposed to be doing. Oh well. Complete another brain. Alright, audio is out. Okay, alright. Well, it's not surprising. Okay, I'll be back in a bit. Alright, see how we go now. In fairness, that's pretty good, because that's been running probably about a week now without me having to do the reset trick. So, yeah, that's definitely an improvement on the old days where we had to resync every single time. Did buy myself some new fancy tools. Was here. A few people might know what that is. And of those few people might know what I'm going to be using it for. So, let me know in the comments if you know what it's going to be. Let's see. Okay, that's my 6S Plus. Whoops, better answer an important... Very important to answer this one because it's my wife. I'll make sure I leave a nice big love heart there. And all will be well. Okay. Gotta leave the love hearts. Otherwise I'll be in big trouble. And I'll probably have the heart carved out of me. I mean, Halloween's coming up, so it's appropriate. Defbomb's already on to it. Ugh. You ruin the fun, Defbomb. Ruin the fun. I just realised I've got a 7 here that needs fixing. The trouble is it's got a kick in it. Not sure if you're going to be able to see the kick. It's really hard to do this all backwards. It's not a severe bend, but I do worry with the 7s. Okay, you can just start to see it there. So what I was thinking is I might be able to just put a aftermarket screen in it. And yeah, I'm umming and erring. I might be able to put an aftermarket in it and the customer, just give them a cheap replacement and tell them that if they happen to tap it wrong, it's probably going to break. Fortunately, the locals here aren't quite as savage as those in New York. Okay, so anyway, this is the main job here. Again, another flippin' kick in it. You can't see it on that one. There's definitely around about here. It bends out. Fortunately, it's not where the board is, but still, it's a nuisance. Hey, Forstland, Christian. Let's see. It's good now. I have been having strange issues the last... Screechy. The last couple of weeks my internet has become a little more intermittent. Normally I have absolutely no trouble getting 140. and that's pretty consistent no matter what time of day or night. But lately I've been having dropouts where it'll just spontaneously stop working, and then about 3 or 4 minutes later it comes back when the router reconnects. I don't even have to reset the router. So I don't know where the fault is. I don't know whether it's the node cabinet or whether it's something on my side. Well, this is not... it's not ideal. It hasn't been handled by me, but it has been opened by somebody. I'm not really sure what's been done to this one. Oh well. Makes exciting. Oh yeah, for certain it's definitely better than Lewis's Spectrum. Anything's better than that. Even carrier pigeons are faster and more reliable. Oh come on. Sometimes the magnetic tip strength's just a little bit too much, and the magnetic brown pad can't keep up with it. No, I don't need to power cycle the router. I mean, I tried it the first few times it did it, but I found it's just not it's not something that changes the behavior of it. So I am thinking it's more either a node issue or it's the ISP. But I'd be a little perplexed if it's the ISP. It's the sort of thing they would fix up within the first couple of times. So I am thinking maybe the node at the corner of the street has got a power cycling issue. Oh, what am I doing here? I'm just blindly doing this. It's okay. Yeah. Anyway, we've got a charge issue on this one, so I'm just trying to find out whether it's a Tristar battery or what. The battery doesn't look great, but it should be doing better than what it's doing now. Let's see. Well, the first test I'll do is just plug in the lightning cable with no battery attached. We should see some sort of current jumping, which you're not going to see. And I've got absolutely nothing. 0, 0, 0 across the board. Okay. So that keeps Tristar in the picture, as in could be at fault. We'll try another flex. How do I like Paul Daniels' software? I find the developer to be... he's a little bit grumpy at times. Sometimes I'll give him a really good idea on something to do with the software, and he just hates it. But then a few weeks later, you find out that he's actually gone and implemented it, and you're like, you stole my idea. So yeah, he's a bit naughty like that. How can I not have a flex for the 6S Plus? What kind of crazy world is this? I normally have tons upon tons of flexes, and I've got none. Ooh. I need a 6S Plus flex. Alright. Oh, wonder if we've got one here. Hey Ed. Hey Jeff Trophio. Yeah, Greg, I should pull the line card, yeah. It's a good idea. I approve. Definitely not you. Maybe you? Nope, not you. Success? Nope. I'm sure there's some people who can recognize the flexes just simply by looking at them. I'm not one of those people. Sorry to disappoint you all. I do have a box of flexes that I've pulled out in the past and then forgotten which ones they are, and they just tend to accumulate in a box, so I better go find that. money is on a failing cable modem, since those things are built to the lowest common. No, I don't use the Tristar tester because honestly, the false positive or the false rates are the problem on those things, in my opinion. By the time you stuff around trying to work out whether you're dealing with a legit issue or whether it's something else, you pretty much could have just yanked the Tristar out and replaced it anyway. But it would be a brilliant start if I could actually find my flexes. My goodness. This will learn me. What do you guys know? Sorry, I know I'm out of frame, but I'm not that far away. Just up at my storage wall where I've got all this sort of stuff. And it was just the other day I was going through all my parts and sort of collating everything into common boxes. Some of the problem is that I just don't get that many 6S Plus units in for repair. They're generally quite a robust phone, so it's not really a common issue. But I would love to know where I'll put these flexes. Maybe I used them in my Boardview. That was just a really bad pun play on words. Oh, come on, where are you guys? These are MacBook ones. Hey, fixing things. Hey, John Finn. Watch just Tristar tester doesn't use the test button, only the short tests, and you have to make sure you put the tester in the correct orientation. Yeah, Greg, it sounds like to me they've still got more work to do on that thing. Ooh, I think I found something. And like I said, the uncertainty that it delivers. No, that's a Samsung Flex. Oh, seriously. Yeah, the uncertainty that it provides is my biggest issue. Just like the uncertainty of where the heck is my... Oh, come on. This is why, folks, never clean up your workshops. You clean up your workshop, you're going to lose everything. Alrighty. Well, we'll take a different tact with this. We'll put a... Oh, sweet Bridget, you're telling me I don't even have a battery? I need to fire my stock manager. Yeah, you guys... Oh, hello. You look vaguely familiar. I guess the question is there a compatible flex that you can use? Nope. Because certainly some of them have mildly... yeah, if the pinouts are the same, I suppose I could check on Flexport View, but no, I'm not going to do that. These unfortunately look all like ratty old ones. Huh? Come on, seriously guys? Come on, please be a 6S Plus. Nope. I've got words dud on one of those. This is embarrassing. All these flexes and not a single one is a 6S Plus. Flip. It's a bad case of, at one point I had so many of these sort of things floating around that I just lost my head completely, grabbed it all, just did the forearm stretch across the bench and just shoved it all into the bin and said to myself, you'll be right. You won't need any of those things later. Never. Not a chance. You got a nice clean bench now. Bugger. Oh, let's see if it even draws proper power. It's unfortunate that because of the you can't use most normal power supplies to accept energy. Oh wait, I can use the 6S battery to test. Yes, I certainly can. But anyway, I'll check this first. Just as long as I don't put one back in there. Yeah, it's not drawing any power. Let's try to power it up. Seems to be booting reasonably normally. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll plug a 6S battery onto it. Although it's not the most ideal thing, it should work. Fixing things, you're saying a 6S Flex or a 6S battery? I just can't believe I've actually don't have any stock of those. Oh, 6S Flex. Well, let's try a battery anyway, because that will, one way or another, indicate whether this is a Tristar or a Flex issue. No, it won't. I'm just being dumb. And we immediately get 1.63. Sorry, I'm just going to take this off the workbench and while it's booting. So we got a proper charge rate at least. Oops, just vibrated in my hand. Phone is disabled. Oh, you got to be kidding me. I'm going to say it might still have a Tristar issue because of the fact that even when... Now correct me if I'm wrong, but with the battery absent, it should still draw a certain amount of power to try and turn on or just boot loop. Because that's charging at 1.6. I suppose one way to check the Flex is to plug it into the PC and see if it shows up as an iPhone device connected. Oh, brilliant. I'll tell you what, without the MacBooks around for me to repair, the streams are getting a little dodgy. Yeah, and I find if they don't power cycle with the battery, without battery, then it's often a Tristar fault. Oh, down on my knees. Into the depths. Yeah, the 3-position USB connector. Because it never goes in the first 2 times, but the 3rd time it does. Okay, let's see if we can... Yeah, this will do. Okay, so the hub's detected. Let's see what happens when we plug this in. We get no activity. So it's a little bit indicative. Of Tristar. Alright, you're talking about people, right. For a moment then I thought you were saying that I wasn't using an MFI certified, and I was about to say, hello, this is actually genuine Apple stuff. I'll have a look once I've just double confirmed this. Hey Joshua. See, what normally should happen here is we should get data about the phone popping up. So like, okay, so nothing's coming up there. But if we plug, say, mine in. There you go, see, you get my information there. Alrighty. Let's have a look at what's on the inside of the scope. The connector. Anyway, this really does reinforce the point that sometimes for these things you should just go in and replace the Tristar. By the time you've stuffed around here, probably could have done it twice over. Why wouldn't you use an oscilloscope to help with repairs? Mostly because they can mislead as much as they help. And that's a really god-awful looking flex. That is really disgusting. That looks like someone threw up in there and then tried to scratch it out. That's a real vomit job, that one. Hey Sonia. Overall, it definitely looks a wreck. Oh look, there's a piece of glass from the old whatever screen break. That explains why we have a... Where are my tweezers? 10,000 spudges. What is this, an Alanis Morissette stream? One pin was a little bit depressed, so I'm going to prescribe it some antidepressants. And how's this person even here? All the microphones, this is really... Yeah, see this pin here is a little soggy, as in it's not bouncing back up like the rest. Sometimes you can get them to come back up. Sometimes they're just jammed down by the vomit that gets into here. Though if that's the case, you should be able to, say if that one pin is dead, you should be able to just turn it around, the connector, and it should come good again. We know power definitely works, because we were charging at 1.5 amp. I mean, I would certainly recommend that this be swapped out, but Mr. Daniels, the stock merchant, the stock manager, has failed to keep track of his stock. Oh yes, yes, YouTube always likes it when you subscribe, and make sure you turn on the notifications. Make sure your little subscribe bell has the extra little ring indicators on the side, otherwise you will still not get notified, which I think is an absolute cracker. So I don't quite understand YouTube's philosophy behind that. Maybe someone can explain it to me, why they've got the two different things. I suppose maybe from a viewer's perspective, you want to be subscribed, but you don't want to have to be notified, or you don't want to be notified. Maybe just showing your support, but you don't really want to. Could be worse. I've seen far worse connectors, so... Alright, so you say a 6S flex should do the trick? I mean, yeah, 6S flex. Hopefully I've got those. Free plastic baggies. Some screens. More screens. It'd be hilarious if there's actually a 6S Plus one in here. I don't think the universe is quite going to be that funny today. Okay. Oh, sorry guys. Microscope stayed inactive there. Active mode, I mean. Nah, I don't bother putting them through sonic baths or anything like that. With this sort of thing, you just replace it. Now, the topic of debate for today is computer science or computer software or computer engineering degrees. Are they actually worth anything? Now, the reason why I bring this up is I was watching a stream the other day, and what am I doing? Plugging in the battery thing? I'm a retarded person. Clearly, computer scientists are retarded because I'm one. Anyway, I was watching the comments on a stream. I think it was a Dave Jones one. I can't remember, or maybe it was a Lewis one. And there was a comment to the effect of computer science degrees are complete and utter trash, and they do not help you one bit with programming. And so I am biased, of course. My bias is the fact that even though I don't have my degree completed, I did spend 4 years doing computer science and computer systems engineering, which is electronics. It's kind of like, if you consider electronics as a parallel to math, then computer systems engineering is a kind of applied math, whereby you actually, it's more of a practical type degree rather than strictly theoretical electronics. The theoretical, like if you just do electronics directly, engineering, you probably end up with, spending a lot of time calculating transistor bias migrations and quantum tunneling and all that sort of stuff, the really nitty-gritty stuff that makes your brain explode. Whereas when you do computer systems engineering, you sort of bypass all that and you just go straight to doing things like embedded systems, how to design them and whatnot. So anyway, getting to the key point here, the person said that computer systems, computer programming degrees are complete trash. And I think more context is required on that because of the fact that it really depends on which computer science degree you ended up getting, when and where. And that's why universities, which one you pick, which course you take, are important. The one I did was predominantly theoretical. It covered things like algorithms, theories, all that sort of stuff. The only actual, what you might call hands-on programming and all that, was an auxiliary type learning to let you test out your theories and things like that. It wasn't actually the primary focus of the degree. So at the end of the degree, the degree I did, you're left with all the theoretical knowledge, such as different types of algorithms, different types of methods, techniques, all that sort of stuff, as opposed to being a very practical degree. And so for me, even though I didn't finish that degree, over the 4 years there was an accumulation of knowledge which definitely has been extremely useful in programming. and without it I think you'd end up not being able to program quite as well. Alright, we've still got 0 on here. Yep, 0, completely 0 there. If you're going into management with the technical field, it's near mandatory in the US. It just shows discipline and completion. Yeah, you're right there, Andre. I completely agree with you on that. And yeah, a degree to me, like now if I'm employing someone, indicates exactly those things, that the person has the capability of being given a task and completing it, unlike me. I was just one of those people that work differently and decide, well, I put my time into it, I couldn't quite finish it, I've still got 0. Have you guys just done a furphy on me and told me bollocks? And in fact this 6S connectors do not work on 6S Plus? Something got warm. I don't like that. Fortunately this phone was actually completely locked out, so data is not an issue. And that charges straight away now. I'm going to go for it's a Tristar. Let's see, Greg says, if you're not trained properly before seeking a job and they ask you for a sample of the code and you have bad coding habits, then that may cause issues. You're also exposed to multi-programming languages. Sorry, what's your pitch there, Greg? I'm not sure. I know when I was at university many moons ago, it took 6 or 7 programming languages just to see what was available. There are some... Right, okay, so you'll sound like it was a slightly more practically orientated type computer science degree. Yeah, so we only ever learned languages to do the project, the tasks for the course, like, you know, show the different types of what do you call it? My brain's completely fried now. Scheduling algorithms, or try to solve the wandering salesman problem in less than MP time, things like that. So yeah, learning a programming language was secondary to the actual course. If you wanted to learn a programming language, they'd send you off to maybe TAFE, or just, yeah, it was something that you'd expected to learn yourself as part of the course, but it wasn't actually what the course was about. There was one course that was C, just, you know, programming C. That was a first year or second year course, and I think the only reason why they ended up doing that was because a lot of the other theoretical courses did need you to write their practicals or the assignments using C. So they sort of probably figured, well, we'll give the students half a chance and get them to learn C, and at least that way that's already sorted out. But the other ones I learned was Prolog, Fortran, Lisp. Oh man, I hated Lisp. Lisp and I just don't get along. Likewise SQL. I will do SQL if I have to, but if you ask me to actually think like SQL, then no, you're not gonna have much luck with me at all there. Yeah, Andrew, that's a good way of stating it. You learn the theory of computers and programming, but you had to do the practical stuff on your own back. And I kind of prefer it myself that way, because it makes it easier to adapt to new languages. Yeah, you're not sort of psychologically locked into just one. That said, you do ultimately still gravitate towards a small selection of languages that you know, suit what you like to do, the way you think. And sometimes your choice of language is too much of a hammer, and you need to change to a different one. But you sure do try to stick with it if you can. Yes, yes, Andrew, that's right. A lot of people just get straight into coding thinking that that's all they need, but really coding is just the last part of it. I should say the language is the last part of it, really. Hey, Sonia. The other thing is, if you just jump straight into coding, like I'm going to go and learn C++, then you find yourself very disillusioned very quickly because you don't have a compelling reason to learn it. You just sort of go, well, I'm learning this, but I don't know why. Or, okay, maybe you do know why, but you don't have that compelling sort of you don't have that compelling urge or that compelling desire that makes you learn things much easier. Why the heck can't I get this off? Oh, damn it, there's a hidden screw. I always forget that one. Come here, you. The things are 10 times easier if you actually have a reason for learning them. Took an APL, which is more suitable for manipulating information found in calculus. You could write in one line of code what would take hundreds of lines. Yeah, certainly that is the good thing, I suppose, of knowing multiple languages. You can definitely pick then the better one for the task, rather than being just trying to smash through everything with the one language. I'm taking forever to get this out for some reason. No, maybe it's because I'm talking. My gloves have already soaked up, so I might have to change them. There we go, finally. Hey, Joshua Bell. These gloves need swapping. It's disgusting. Maybe I should turn the fume extractor on. Just telling the person that their phone is the new electronics. The only thing that irks me a little bit on this is that they did say the battery was getting weaker. So maybe it was just a compound fault, maybe they left it on the charger too long. When I say too long, I don't mean that I overcharged the battery, I just mean they left it on for such a long time that the luck of the draw got against them and some sort of surge came through and, you know, popped it. I'm trying to find a compatible file for the HP I'm trying to diagnose my own personal use. Can only find the PDF files. Joshua, what you mean, like a Boardview? Yeah, good luck with that. A lot of those just aren't available. That's why a lot of us tend to like the MacBook repair so much, because you actually have a chance, because the files are available. You know, people can knock on the MacBooks and iPhones as much as they like, but it doesn't change the fact that we actually do have files for them. Great. I'm out of gloves. You better go get another box. It's been a fun day today. Started very early, around about 10 to 6. I woke up to a cat fight outside, the stray cats fighting with ours. And then about 10 minutes after that, I hear on the roof, I hear a noise, a thunk. And I'm like, what on earth? I go outside and see Loki is on the roof. He managed to find a way up there, which meant then that I'm half asleep and I'm cutting down a tree, at least majorly pruning it to stop him doing that again. And then we couldn't find one of the other cats, I guess just through all the ruckus and whatnot. She went and found herself a nice tight hiding spot, and that took a little while, so the blood pressure's been getting a bit crazy. Fun and games. If it's got a charging issue, Joshua Bell, you might just find it easy enough to just replace the various bits and pieces. Oh man, my hands are too... I need to dry them out. This is alcohol and water. It's not really going to dry them out, but it might just help a little bit. Yeah, Greg, all before I had a coffee. As for the cats being a chicken coop, Andre, they're in about a 500 meter square chicken coop. So, yeah, they're already in one. But if there's trees in there, and the trees are reasonably close to the roof, one day they managed to take the gamble and have a jump. And it worked. Now, that's a real problem here, because if they get onto the roof, it's possible for them to then actually jump off outside of the fenced area. Yeah. I'll get myself a spare Tristar. Now I've got one more enclosure that I need to do around the property, and that will then finally put the property fully, or I should say the house, fully within the confinement of the fencing. The only flaw that's going to be left then is we have a nighttime containment area, so that they can have a little bit of outside area at night while we're sleeping, but it's a safe area. But the downside is that if they get on the roof, because that fence comes up to the wall of the house, they can get on the roof, and they can then, if they're well balancing sort of thing, they can then step on the mesh of the fence and sort of wobble their way to the outside of the property. So you got to think of these things so much when you're trying to contain those little rat bags. Yeah, Greg, I did see that. I was speaking to him the other day from the hospital. Yeah, that was pretty damn brutal. Hopefully they managed to find the person that did it. Andrew, yeah, that's the approach we're taking. We're going to try and get them fat. Most of the problem is it's always with the young ones. Once they get after about 4 years old, they stop this sort of misbehavior. So, you know, when people sort of gush over kittens and things like that, all I can think of is, man, you've got 4 years ahead of you of misbehavior. Yeah, I haven't heard any details regarding the scenario that Anel was in when he got dump trucked. But either way, it's no fun at all. Alright, I do love the 6S Plus Tristar, because it's just a case of, yeah, it's not obstructed or anything like that, unlike the 6S. Let's just peel it back, rip it off. Of all the Tristars, it's basically like the 5S and the 5C. No dramas at all. He was biking. Oh, okay. Was he biking or was he befanging? I'll just put a bit of Captain tape on there just to hold that down while I do this. Saves having a little accidental flap up or anything. Well, hopefully they get it sorted out. Trying to decide whether I should detach those antennas. I'm going to detach the antennas. Today just feels like a day where if I don't do that, I'm probably going to do something dumb and end up regretting it. Then again, it's the sort of day where when you try to prevent such things, it does something else. Realistically, I shouldn't be putting that much heat into this, so it shouldn't really cause the coax any issues, but like I said, it's just one of those days. Make sure we set our temperature to that which suits iPhones and not MacBooks. It's probably one of my most common faults I have here. I'll forget that I won't forget that I'm working on an iPhone. I'll forget to change over. And then I'll be impressed at how quickly something came off the board. And then I'll realise that I've actually pretty much just baked the board. And let's change my tweezers here. These are the ultrafines, super ultrafines or whatever. They're the ones with the ground down tips. They just give me a little more clearance for my shakiness. Come on. It's better. Sorry, that came out a bit louder than I thought. Andrew, I'm just using what everyone else is using, which is the Quick 861 DW. It's hard to beat that machine. Well priced, good performance. Yeah, it's hard to beat it. Now see, there's plenty of clones running around, but the only thing I would have wished to be a bit different on these, on the Quick 861 DW, was if they had rotary encoders instead of the damn digital up-down buttons. Rotary encoders are vastly superior for this sort of work. Andrea, I did have, the previous machine I had was basically an AOE or whatever you call it. Mine was just called a Tenma, but basically the same thing. Crud. Just realised I didn't check the orientation. That's okay. All in. iPhones. Nope. Alright, so it is up top left. Cool. I thought it was, but I just wanted to be sure. Yeah, Bailey, if I had unlimited time and happy to just stuff around, I would love to do a 3D printed replacement, or just a replacement front panel, and have one that has the rotary encoders. At least you could do that without requiring any firmware changes. But the next level I would like to do is to actually add some more memories, at least 2 or 3 more memories. Since we have 3 buttons on the front, you should theoretically be able to have at least 5 memories if you reprogram the firmware. And you can simulate that by the fact that you got the 3 switches, so you can just... Oh man, the lemon shakes. Like I said, these are really good tweezers. Just the person handling them is not so good at the moment. Just going to add some hot air to that. The hot air will just make that flux jump around a little bit better. There we go, we're in a good spot there now. Zoom in and get ready to watch for the jump. There we go, that just jumped in. Bailey is me. I did see that someone has produced a rotary encoder version, a clone of the Quick. But whether... The trouble is it's not a Quick, I guess, is my problem. And I suspect they probably haven't got the same level of consistency, dependability, quality, etc. Alright, so that's down. Let's see if that now works. Get that off. Yeah, if you get the opportunity to do Tristar replacements on the 6S Plus, it's well worth it. Simply because of the fact that there's basically nothing to it. So the end downside is trying to make it look pretty afterwards. Where'd that chassis go? Not you. There you are. seem to be making this fractionally harder than I need to for myself. What we really need here is just the dock and the battery. Now this battery is probably going to be dead flat, so it'll be a good test to see whether it's going to come up or not. And immediately we've got power coming back in now. Yep. So, yep, that's what it was, Tristar. So we're charging at 450 at the moment. So what's that? That's like that, 450. The reason why it's only charging at 450 is because if this battery is flat with lithium packs, as long as it's above about 2.75 or 2.8, let's say 2.8, then you can do a slow trickle charge back up to around about the preferred 2.95 to 3. And then once you get to that point, then you can go ahead with the full charge rate, which is the 1C rate. When I say 1C, C stands for whatever the milliamp hour capacitance of a pack is. So if you've got a 2500 milliamp hour pack, then the 1C charge rate is 2.5 amps. And it's up to 1.4 amps already, so that's great. So that was our fault. It was Tristar, which is good to know. Now, for the sake of this video, I actually just went ahead and did that without getting the confirmation from the customer that they actually want that. So if the customer doesn't want it done, then I'm blaming you all, and you can all pay for the cost of it, because hey, I'm here entertaining you all, so you owe me. Alright, I guess we'll just put this thing back together now. But I will clean up that board a little bit, get that flux off. The flux wasn't bad, but it wouldn't hurt to give it a little bit of a wash. Rob, you just got here, did you? Well, I guess we could do a pro rata type fee system. Mind you, there will be a flat fee, so $10 flat fee plus 10 cents per second thereafter. Sounds good to me, anyway. Alright, we'll just scrub this out with a little bit of alcohol. What's Soren done now? Soren certainly does have an interesting way of doing a lot of things. Oops, hey, that scratches that off. That's interesting. I hope that's not conductive. I'm gonna have to check now. If that's conductive, I'm gonna have to then just cut this off and use Captain tape. I can't imagine it would be conductive, but then again, who knows? Let's find out. An L here, is he? Where's an L? Hey, Tom Cartmill. Okay, no, that is Captain tape, now that I look at it. Where is an L? I can't see an L. Time to go back. Dun dun dun. Well, an L, if you're in there, I can't see you at the moment. So maybe you'll have to just speak up a few more times. Yeah, the lethal one, I still don't know how to take that statement. I still don't know whether I should be happy or sad that I've put you to sleep. He's incognito, oh, okay. Well then how do you guys know he's there? Hey, Canon Turkey. Oh. Oh, and I was like, you kidding me? All this time? Seriously? Wow, I feel dumb. Good thing I wasn't saying anything bad about an L. What's this? What's ASMR Chamber saying? Dun, dun, dun. Can anyone tell me the extension for PCB View? I can't find any on the web except for free app, pre-charged devices. Um, yeah, Open Boardview supports a moderate number of formats, and then Flex Boardview supports even more formats. Flex Boardview, we added a whole bunch of formats that would suit it for industrial applications. So if you yourself have a board that you're producing and you want people to have a board view for it, then there's quite a few that Flex Board View now supports that will work. Things like GenCAD or IPC365 or IPC-D365. What else? They're the sort of the better ones. There's also Fabricator, or is it FabMaster? I can never remember. Anyway, we've got a few. Rob Brown will know too which ones they are. But it's more than Open Board View. Now I saw someone was asking about OBD2 or OBD++ rather, and honestly, OBD++ is one of those crazy formats that sort of tries to solve everything in one hit, and in the end nobody uses it. I mean, okay, there are some people who are using it, but overall the production houses don't seem to be that invested in it. I swear sometimes it feels like Microsoft Office's OOXML, which of course was a great big load of crap that they only put out because of the ODF format series, and they wanted to have their whole ISO certification or whatever it was. Sadly they end up getting it too. Alright, let's get this cable routed. Maybe I should put in one of the screws first, just so that we've got a fixed point of reference. I really hope this person does want their phone repaired. I mean, if they didn't, well, I guess that's my own risk that I took. And come on, it was fun to do it with you guys and girls, sorry. Do we have the issue where guys I consider as a gender neutral term, but I understand. I mean, there's plenty of other jobs. I mean, yeah, there's plenty of other jobs that I end up having to do, and the customers don't ever turn up for it, or just ends up they change their mind later, and there's absolutely no gratification whatsoever from them. So at least this way it's gratifying that it's entertainment for YouTube and for all you watching. Alright. Managed to walk up a flight of stairs with crutches. Cool. How many steps were in the stairs? A flight? 2? 3? Either way, it's blimmin' brutal what happened to you. Makes my motorcycle accidents look trivial. I guess they were anyway. So Nell, I presume you're going to have to be stuck with those titanium bits and pieces in your body for the rest of your life, or are they taking them out at a later point? Or are you going to become the what's the name of the security company that handles all the American airports now? I f- TSR or something. I don't know. Anyway, you're probably going to become their love child now. You're like, oh, here comes an L. Let's get him in the X-ray machine. And they're like, oh, sorry, sir. It seems to indicate you have metal on you somewhere, so we'd like you to step into the room, please. And we're going to have to do a full search. TSA, thank you. Yeah, TSA, my god. Those bastards. Absolutely raking in the money over all the various fears. That's good marketing. That's good business. Take something that people will not dispute you with, and turn it into a cash cow. I get angry at those sort of people because they think of that stuff and I don't. Metal detectors won't detect the bolts I put in you. Interesting. Very interesting, actually. So I guess the question is, why don't they make weapons out of that metal? I guess maybe the metal won't handle that sort of load pressure. I mean, obviously the demands for a body compatible metal are quite different to that of one trying to contain an explosion. Unless it's something to try and help you fart again, I don't know. Oh, you little rat bag. Get back here. What's that? I wonder how many professional iPhone repair people are just screaming their heads off right now because of how long this is taking. You gotta realize, I don't do this every day for these sort of things. Oh man. The stuff, antibiotics, if you can avoid having that stuff, I definitely would. I know it's touted as a cure-all for so many things, but for years I've always wondered, like, the secondary effects of having too many antibiotics, and now it's sort of coming to light that, oh, whoops, kind of wipes out your entire gut flora, and then when you do recover, over time you become a different person because a whole different bioculture is set up in your gut. I've seen a few reports where people have done gut culture replacements because their own was really bad. Maybe they were suffering from Crohn's disease or just IBS or stuff like that. And the transfer works and the condition rapidly improves, but then they do start taking on traits of the person in which they took the transfer from. So you got to wonder how much of what you think you are is actually the bacteria in your body controlling you, as if you're just some puppet. That'll help you if you get fungus in you and you start climbing up to the top of the tallest grass that you can find in the field and wait for the cows to come and eat you. Now doctors want some issues to just run the course. Yeah, I think they're finding that. I mean, obviously it saves lots and lots of people, But now that we're getting drug-resistant staff and stuff like that starting to pop its head up a lot, then yeah, I think it's time we sort of went, oh, maybe we should back off a little bit. Rick Dangerous. How much do you reckon a screen replacement for 13-inch 1502? I think they're around about $500 Australian or more. They are not cheap, those things. And they are not really in plentiful supply. I have been looking for ages. Like, even a broken one, it costs $200 odd or more. Broken. Completely useless. Basically, it's just the frame. And maybe if you're lucky, you might be able to use it for some sort of level of diagnostics. Say maybe at 1/4 of it lights up with the right image. But the rest of it's just broken. And people still are buying them for 200 plus. Yeah, summer is coming. Summer is here. Summer is hot. Why am I doing this? I need a bit of a water mix here, so I just put a little bit on, a bit of a puddle of it on the table where no one's going to notice. And just, I should have done this before I connect the battery, but whoop-de-doo, what you going to do? There we go. I don't like seeing junk on these. I like them to be a little bit cleaner. Okay, and just suck up the rest of that puddle and we're good. Alright, let's see how we go now. Mr. Bailey is me because I'm a little bit quirky and pedantic like that. Okay, so 1.47. Let's see if this thing actually turns on at some point. See if it even shows a screen. Okay, we do have a battery icon coming up there. Your sister just broke her 1502, $900 quote. Yeah, that's, I'd say if you went to a third party, non-approved place, and they fit one for you, pardon me, you'd probably be looking at about 600 Australian easily. As they are definitely not cheap screens at all. Most of the time, if you find yourself in a situation where you've end-of-lined or beyond economical repair to machine, it'll be because, on MacBooks at least, because the screen has failed. About the only screen that's economical or cheap enough at the moment to replace is still the 1278s, and that's about it. Even the A1466s are ridiculously expensive. Screen dead, computer's dead, just walk away from it. It's just not worth the money. Circuit boards you can repair easy enough. Top decks, yeah, half and half. But screens, game over. At least in my opinion. Just wipe this down. There's some weird grungy stuff all over this. I don't like the feel of it at all. It's looking much better now. Almost looks like a new screen. It's like someone had handled it with very wet, dirty, sticky fingers. And so, yeah, the back is... look at the wear on that. It's crazy. This has definitely had a heavy life. What's on the wearer drivers? Yes, I do think they're worth it, though if you can find the short version of the Philips 00, I would dearly love to know. I'm wondering if there's a 000. I always forget, yeah. So the 00, it's just that little bit too long. I would have preferred it about 20 millimeters shorter. Because at the moment when you try to do a top spin like that, you're giving up your precision down on the tip, and so you end up doing this sort of thing, or maybe work from here. So yeah, about 20 mil shorter would have been perfect for that. I agree, they definitely do look much better. Like we have here the Weeha. Now, of course, I know there's a few different versions of these Weeha drivers. A couple of them don't look that bad, actually. But definitely, the first complaint I have with the Weha, well, actually not the first. One of the complaints I have is the shaft is just too narrow. Yeah, sometimes when you do actually want to say spin out a screw, the shaft is just too narrow. It's like trying to handle a little needle or something. You can't get a good spin on it, particularly not in gloves. Whereas the wearer drives, yeah, the what is that, 3.5 millimeter, 1/8 inch maybe. And this feels more like it's not 1/16th, but yeah, it's not great either. So definitely the Wira is better than that. The other problem with the Weha is just like the top cap here. It's really kind of crappy. You got your casting lines, and they're not smoothed over at all. Well, I suppose they are. They're trimmed, but yeah, given that it's made in Germany, it's supposed to be good quality, costs a fortune. Really not happy with them. Whereas these, yeah, definitely worth it. The downside of these is that I can't seem to find the shorter double O. There's no pentalobes that I'm aware of in the wearer, and there's no tri-wing in the wearer. So if they bring out the tri-wing and the pentalobe and a shorter Phillips, I would actually, in spite of the fact that I've paid money for these, I would replace them. Hey Cormac, good to see you. What about the motorized one? I pass on those. I'm not really keen on that. I can see the appeal. Like if you're building machines every day, like say you're doing a PC builds 10 a day or something like that, definitely motorized screwdrivers for that. But for this sort of fine work, while it's tempting, I think you probably end up just still wasting your time, or you may even end up doing more damage than anything else. Okay, we're still charging at 1.5 amp. Not sure how many milliamp hour we've transferred across. Unfortunately, this meter that I've got under here is no good for useful information like that. I've seen the tool drivers. They look like they're metal base. Yeah, they've actually got metal handles, which I'm actually getting away from. Like, I've got my Baku ones, and I'm just replacing them as I go. I did get these Pros Kit tri-wings. They're a little bit disproportionate. They definitely are cheap as anything, but they work alright. Hey, we've got a boot. I'm just going to take this away and see if it has changed its mind about being locked. It probably hasn't. That's the other thing. You're right, Cormac. Yeah, you can spin the drive in, the screw in much faster manually because you're handling the torque directly. Whereas with the electric ones, you either overspeed or you take forever, or you end up ruining it. But like I said, if you're doing PC assembly or coarse, large, heavy-duty kind of stuff, relatively speaking, to say a phone, then sure, powered drivers are great. Well, we're still disabled, unfortunately. I'm disabled. Such a great episode of IT Crowd. So how are you disabled? I'm disabled. So where's your wheelchair? I don't know. Well, looks like it's charging alright then. Okay, so that's fixed. Ended up being Tristar. Very easy to do the Tristar on the 6S Plus, which is good because I was in no mood to do anything difficult right now. So now that that's done, in record long time, I'm going to go and get myself another coffee. There'll be third or fourth for today. I'm kind of tripping out on this. Take a break and then go do some more yard work and try and clear out some more trash so that with summer coming, we've got things like snakes, and it's just nicer to have a nice clear yard. Yes, if you haven't seen IT Crowd, make sure you get the UK one. There was one, I think it was a pilot episode for the US version. It was an absolute just terrible. IT Crowd UK version should be on Netflix as far as I recall. definitely worth watching. It feels a little contrived the first episode or two, but once you get into it, it's definitely a good laugh. Angle, oh yes, the beard. Actually, funny enough, I was thinking I need to trim it because the moustache is starting to come down a little too far. When I get to the point where I can actually start biting on my moustache hairs, that's when it's time to trim. So, alright, so thank you everyone for watching, and as always, remember to like and subscribe and all that stuff. You don't have to like, I don't expect you to like. Certainly try to subscribe, make sure the little bell things are on so that you get notified when I'm doing a live stream. In the near future I might get back to doing edited videos because I know a lot of people like those too. It's a time and money thing, so we just have to wait and see. Oh, and if you're looking to buy Flex Boardview, please, please, please remember there are no board views and schematics provided with it. I will give you technical support if you run into troubles with it. If you have a language barrier issue, I understand, but please bear with me. And if you're really not sure about things, try Open Boardview first, because Open Boardview uses the same techniques, as in you've got to have your own board views, and obviously you'll load your own schematic elsewhere. And then once you feel like you've got a feel for Open Boardview, then you can go and buy Flex Boardview, because it drives me batty insane when I get messages of someone saying I can't make it work. I try to give technical support, and then the next day I get a PayPal dispute claim. I mean, come on, give me a break. That's why I have on the purchase thing the 3 terms. Well, it's actually only 2 terms. No schematics, no refunds. If you don't like it, that's fine. I accept that, but at least I'm being upfront and direct about it. Go use Open Boardview, see if that works for you. Otherwise, don't buy it, okay? Because I will just simply say no refunds. I know, makes me a bit of a jerk, but otherwise people can just run me over and run away with things, and I don't like that, because I've got to eat too, just like everybody else. So with that rant, you'll have a good day, and I'll see you later. Greg, yes, I have a big warning. If you go to the Flex Boardview page, the purchase page, well, it's the only page, you will see before you can purchase from PayPal, you got to first agree to the terms, and then you got to confirm that you've agreed to the terms before the PayPal button even comes up to be clicked. So yeah, it's done. Alright, I'll catch you later.